Welcome to the Boulder Arts Commission's meeting. It is May 27th, 2026, and I will call roll. Caroline Kirk.
Present.
Jeffrey Cash is not here yet. Jill Katzenberger. Present. Gaia Vinay.
Present.
Yale Guayel.
Present.
Montserrat Palacios. Kate Samino.
Yes, present.
All right. I will turn the meeting over to Chair Kirk for procedural items.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the May 27th, 2026 meeting of the Boulder Arts Commission, and we'll open with the gavel. And our first order of business is to approve the agenda for tonight. Someone would like to make a motion. I'll approve the agenda. Second.
Say it.
All in favor? Yes. Let's see, guy has hand up and Jeffrey has got his hand raised. Yes, that's this one. Okay, great. Thank you, guys. Second order of business is the approval of the April 2026 meeting minutes.
I did notice a misspelling one of the names that all fix Montserrat's name in the beginning is misspelled.
Great. I also noticed that there's during the public comments, you reference Junkyard Social, and it's Junkyard Social Club.
Yes.
There's two instances of that.
Okay.
I did have one note, which is that because you all knew I was coming late, my swearing in was at some point in the agenda, and I came a little earlier than I expected, and so I was there for the vote on the grants. And then when I was reading through the minutes, it says, grants and voting, which I voted on, but then it says I was sworn in, when in fact I had been sworn in before that. So I don't know if there's a way to.
Yeah, it looks like you're voting on something before being sworn in.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to clarify that.
And then Montserrat was in the later portion of the meeting.
I was earlier in the yes.
Oh, but you were in before the meeting.
Yes.
I see. Okay. Any other edits? Would someone like to make a motion to approve as edited?
To approve as edited.
Discussion. All in favor? Jeffrey's Diane's hand up. I don't see Jeffrey. Jeffrey's got a bar across his face, so I can't see.
Oh.
There.
There you go. He's done.
Beautiful. Minutes practice. Is that with Melissa or with Lauren?
We are going to be changing the format of our meeting minutes. We're standardizing the processes for all of our boards and commissions because we've all been doing something a little different. And I'm going to ease y'all into this so it would be a very stark difference. Right now, I've been taking verbatim minutes, which we're going to be moving to more action item minutes. So I'm going to do kind of a little bit of both. With that, there is flexibility. If you feel like there's a part that's very important that I document in the notes, just let me know and I'm happy to do so. And we also have video recordings of these as well as a transcript if you need for me to go back and research anything. But the notes will be a lot shorter, more clear and concise, and just the action items moving forward. But I'll slowly ease us in month by month.
Thank you. And they've been a lot of work, and we appreciate how detail oriented you've been.
Thank you.
All right, I understand there's nobody signed up for public participation. Great, moving right along. Let's go to the grants program, Sarah.
Yes.
All right. So we have decisions on Boulder Vision for organizations today. You can either approve the recommendations of the panel, approve individual recommendations while submitting specific questions, postpone approval, pending the answers to specific questions, or not approve the recommendations from the panel. And these were the final scores from the panel. And I do have a note, on the Boulder Chamber Foundation's application. It was looking like they were going to be partially funded at $8,500. But as the new local was a partner in the project originally, they discussed it. And so they're going to be able to fully do the project at $8,500.
And the second Boulder Chamber Foundation, that's the film commission project. The one that
Believe so, but I'll need to go back and check.
I can check that.
It's a lot of projects, sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Great. If someone is ready for a motion, we'll keep the motion on the table and then have any discussion that we have.
And then I did have it broken out. I don't know if you want to edit this. Include the transportation connections project.
Yeah, does anybody feel like they would like to have a separate conversation on the last grant that's getting partial funding right now? We can pull that out for a separate vote. To discuss.
Yeah. I just have a quick question. I believe Kate asked this last meeting, but when they are partially funded, do they know in advance that they will be partially funded, or they know that they got awarded and then it's a partial fund?
Well, we try not to partial fund grants
Yeah,
as a rule, but
yes.
when it happens like this, yeah, I reached out
Okay.
to the Boulder Chamber Foundation. And then that's when they chatted with the new local and they sent me a new budget and more package. Okay.
That's helpful, because that was actually my question, which you already answered, which was, are they gonna be able to do this project with this partial funding? Which matters more, I think, when it's a specific project that they're wanting to achieve. So thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? Anybody online? Anybody like to make a motion?
I can make a motion. I move that we approve the following organizations for the 2026.
Yep.
Oh, sorry. Okay, well. Hey, no mind.
2026?
Oh, and then it's Boulder Christian as well.
Yeah. Boulder Vision for Organization. Grants. Boulder Psycho, Community Roots Arts Festival. Sorry. Off the top of my head, it's on the school.
There somewhere.
Community Roots Arts Festival, Craft, Control Group Productions, the Institute for Embodied Cosmology, Orlando, Dance, Continua Productions, Boulder Samba School, Band of Toughs, Hear Us Now, See Us Now, La Vecindad, you shot me, the New Local, and Boulder Chamber Foundation Transportation Connection.
Second.
Any further discussion? I see a guy has hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi. So I had a chance to sit in on this discussion, and I just want to say that it was super detailed. Like, there was so much back and forth that went on behind all these grants, and how much sort of the people evaluating it, they pay such close attention to every single sentence, every single thing that's written in the grants. And I just, as I've said before, I think it's a real opportunity for us if we can help any of our liaisons with the grants, like review it. I hope that's okay, but like just to make sure they're covering all their bases. I think this is just a good exercise for us to do in general if we have time with our liaisons. And is that allowed? Are we allowed to do that, Sarah and Lauren?
I'll bring Lauren there.
Oh, sure. And yes, we actually will bring forward to you at the next meeting, we'll be talking about new liaison positions. And so this is a relationship that you'll have with 7 or 8 different organizations. And we've been talking, I say we, the royal, we've been talking with Sarah, the chair, the vice chair, about having a set of questions that you actually speak with every organization with too, because it can be all over. Your discussion can go all over, but it occurs to us that we should be asking some very specific things and being sure that they are getting what they need too, right? So, hey, do you know that there's a grant writing workshop that's coming up? Do you know about these opportunities? Do you know about this funding? To help get at some of those questions and for some of the like topics that we see come up all the time. Does that answer your question, Gaia?
Yeah, it does. And I think my more direct question was, are we allowed to look at their grants before they submit it? Are we allowed to read what they've written and give them feedback and be like, oh, I think you should change this or change that?
That might privilege them over organizations that don't currently have that.
Yeah. Did you hear that, Gaia?
No, tell me again.
That might unfairly privilege organizations that are already being funded. Because the new organizations that haven't applied yet or haven't received funding wouldn't have a liaison.
Okay, so that's a no on that.
I would say that if you want to look at their applications now, after the process is over, together with all of the comments, that would be great because they would have a year to think about it or consider it. It might be a good starting point too if you don't know the organizations.
Okay.
But certainly during the process of the grant panels and things, the commission and the panel are now all sequestered, so you shouldn't be hearing you shouldn't be interacting with the applicants unless it's like something separate from the grant applications.
Got it. Okay, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, sure.
And
You're asking.
one thing, Gaia, that I've done is also just give sort of general perspectives that I see happening in the commission conversations. And I think that's fair game to be like, oh, this seems to be very important to the commission as a whole, so make sure you address it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Jeffrey, I saw you go off mute. Did you have something?
I did, and I was glad to hear Gaia actually speak first and know that we had a voice in the room, or at least ears in the room, on the discussion. Just because when I was looking at some of these, I had some pause as to what's the impact and what's the reach on some of the ones that were awarded. So if she was in the room and feels happy with the outcome and the process, then I'm happy to support that.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? I see 2 hands online. It's unanimous. And then I had a follow-up comment on the transportation connection. 2 things. One, I wasn't really sure. I just wanted to put it on the record. I wasn't really sure because it was a transportation project, how I felt about that. And then as I thought more about some of the other grants that we've done in the past that are really supporting transportation, I got really excited about it and how it like fits in with the accessibility stuff. So I'm really happy to see that. And then I had the opportunity just before this meeting to speak with somebody that is part of that project. And they expressed that even with the partial funding, they were so excited and actually were thinking about ways that could be a benefit to get them to really focus down on what's important in their proof of concept. So
I appreciate that mindset.
yeah, me too. Yeah, they're very excited and thankful.
Hey, and then just as a follow-up to some things that Guy was asking about, I'd just like to remind both the commission and applicants that they can use me as a resource. I'm happy to provide the evaluations from the panel if you would like that information before you meet with your liaisons. And then additionally, you can encourage your liaisons to reach out to me before. I'm very happy to have one-on-one calls with applicants to walk them through the rubric before they apply every year. So please encourage them to come chat with me first. And also encourage them to attend our grant writing workshops.
Thank you.
Now we have reports. You can either approve all reports, approve individual reports while submitting specific questions, postpone approval of individual reports pending the answers to specific questions, or not approve the reports. We have 2 arts education project grant reports, one from Colorado Shakespeare Festival and one from Luna Cultura. I did send, or I included a translation for the document in Luna Cultura's report, but yeah.
Excellent. Anybody need to carve anything out for discussion? And we can make a motion.
I move that we approve the reports by Colorado Shakespeare Festival and Luna Cultura.
I'll second.
Excellent. Any discussion? Gaia?
I just wanted to give a quick shout out for Luna Cultura. I attended an event that they did for Boulder Arts Week. It was all the way up in North Boulder, and it was at the Novo Art District, and it was really like a sweet event that they organized, and they made such a huge effort. It was a little bit disappointing to see that there was just me and my 2 children and one more person. So, I feel like these smaller people, they put in a huge effort to be there, and just something for us to keep in mind for next Boulder Arts Week. Like if we can do anything to help them see a little bit more traffic would be nice.
I'm always excited about the Shakespeare Violence Prevention Program. I think that's just a really cool framing and something I would have loved when I was younger and really got into. So appreciate both these organizations and the projects. Yes. All right, let's take a vote. All in favor? I see 2 hands online, unanimous. Thank you, Sarah.
And then finally, we have 2 community project grant reports. This is a grant that we are no longer offering, but it's kind of become the Boulder Vision Grant, just to clarify. So we have one from Abby Kellums and Dairy Arts Center.
I move that we approve the grant reports from Abby Tellens and Dairy Arts Center.
I second that.
Any discussion?
Actually went deep and watched a few of the YouTube videos on the music from scratch, and just so cool. Just like I love that they share those because it just gives us a chance to have a glimpse of what the project was about.
Yeah. All right, all in favor?
Do you want me to abstain from the Dairy Arts Center vote and just vote for Abby
Oh.
Kellums?
Yes, let's do a separate vote for Dairy Art. Let's make a new motion for just the first.
I move that we approve the grant report for Abby Kellum. I second.
All in favor of that one? Great. That is approved. And then Melissa, I don't know if you can make a separate, I don't know how you'd like to handle that since she's online.
Yeah, maybe just turn your camera off and
Mute us.
cover your ears.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just turn my camera off and remove my headphones. Okay.
I move that we approve the grant reports from Dairy Arts Center. Second that.
All in favor? Great, thank you. We let her know she can turn back.
Thank you.
Thank you. And then, I don't think any commissioners attended, but we did have a really successful tour of the Loveland Lofts Affordable Artist Housing. And these are 3 additional upcoming dates. That's it, Linda.
Great, thank you so much. I'm curious if there were any big takeaways like from that tour that clip.
Yeah, so there was 2 different buildings. One was affordable housing with area median income maximums. And that was extremely popular, very vibrant. Everyone had their art outside of their door, so you could see what their median was. Really cool, and seemed like there was really strong community. And then there was market rate housing that it seemed like they had a harder time filling. But it was really cool because it was an adaptive reuse building. But yeah, it seems like maybe it was difficult finding a market for that in Loveland. Yeah, we just asked about different city incentives. They received federal funding from the NEA. They received federal historic funding, state historic funding, and art funding from CCI, and then several city incentives. So I pass that along to people who work in other departments and like the budgeting office in the city of Boulder to just be like,
Yeah.
here's this for your consideration. And then Laura and Matthew were there too. I don't know if you wanted to add any other takeaways.
Yeah, buildings were owned by Art Space.
Yeah.
It's a company in Minneapolis, a nonprofit in Minneapolis, and they run similar projects up there.
And several in Colorado.
Yes.
Great.
I think that voters too.
Yeah, please do. Thanks for going to do that. All right, moving on to commission business and liaison updates. I would like to make a plug in this section because we have been tending to get longer and longer and longer on it. And so I think starting next month, if we can focus on conversations that we had, less about upcoming calendar items are upcoming, because we can all go on people's websites and find out what's going on, but news from the community and what you're hearing from your GOS recipients. I think that would be a great focus and keep us on time. And we don't need to hear from everybody every month, but it's great if we do. So, would anybody like to share liaison updates without that restriction this month?
Well, I might just minimize mine to that. I know there were questions around Groundworks with their ED stepping down a few months back. So they've had an interim ED. It is still, the job description is still posted. And are hoping to have that filled, I think as soon as possible, but I think that the job description is still like in posting phase for the rest of at least this month. But I've been kind of checking in just to see how they're doing. Yeah.
Cool. Do you have a sense if they're getting interest yet, or?
I don't, I mean, the last that we chatted, it was shortly after our last meeting, so it was kind of in the phase of it, like finally moving from interim to putting the posting out and seeing if they're getting. But yeah, I can check in.
Yeah.
KGNU's new headquarters is up and running and open to the public now. I mean, like, we're all at the opening because it was also the blueprint showcase, and that was really fun. It was really cool to see the space because we'd done tours beforehand when it was still like being built and set up and everything. So it was really cool to see it in use, like with musicians playing and people there and seeing how it's going to be used. So it's really cool. You can also just like go there for coffee and like hang out. You don't have to like go for an event or something. Like they have like little cafe and like little spaces and stuff. So
Intended
cool.
for a community hang.
Yeah, cool. It's awesome.
I went to the ribbon cutting ceremony for KG, and that was one of the things I was going to mention, even though it's not my group.
Yeah.
But that was really cool. They had Amy from Democracy Now! That gave a little presentation. I was like, whoa, it's stunning. Yeah, it was really cool. But it was just hugely vibrant, and I was a group that's already had an event there, just a smaller in the great space, and they're really excited for people to start using that.
Yeah.
I also, not my group, but this is who I've been.
That's what I've been up to.
Going on. I got to see two Kutandara performances in the last month or so, and so they're working on trying to find their new space. Who's the liaison for them? Right? Yeah. Okay.
Me.
Well, oh, Gaia. Okay. Well, I won't step on your toes because you may have things to say about that, but that was really fun, and they seem to be in good spirits.
That was what I was going to mention to Caroline, that they're still looking for a space the last time I heard. And I don't have any other major updates other than the fact that we have Parlando, who's going to be presenting at the Accessibility Summit in June. So that's just another reminder to to send out notifications about the summit. And I've been in touch with my liaisons about applying for a CCRS grant if they need it. It doesn't seem like anybody qualifies yet for my liaisons because you have to own that building. But I of course mentioned it to the dairy. And just a personal update is that I'm stepping down from the board of the dairy and Roots as well. So makes me a little bit less biased, I guess. So that's good. And then there are a couple of questions, Sarah. I don't know if you saw that in the Q&A. There are 2 anonymous questions in
We're
the Zoom
handling
session.
those. Mhm.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Jeffrey or Jill, do you want to take an opportunity?
No, I just was gonna clarify, unless I'm incorrect, I think that you can still apply for CCRS as long as it's a capital project.
No, you have to own the building.
I was in the cohort, the
Oh, you
funded
were?
cohort group last year, yeah.
Okay, good. Because when I spoke with Annie about it, she was talking about how we need to own the building. That's the only way you can apply for it.
Well, maybe we'll check it out because I've
Yeah.
already put hours into this application.
Okay, sounds
I'm a
good.
little worried. Which she said, like, has been in communication with all of us that were on the cohort, which includes several of our liaison groups. Frequent Flyers is in that, New Local is in that. It all kind of got funded through this like early stage last 2 years ago, with the knowledge that it was going to open up eventually. So yeah, that is my understanding.
Okay, let's
We can
check.
dig into
Let's
it.
check.
Yeah, that way we can make sure that people are aware.
Yeah, yes.
Whether there's applying when they shouldn't be putting the energy into it, or if they are, if it does apply to them.
Right. And we will be reassigning liaisons in July. Is that correct? Sorry, in June or July?
In June.
Next month. Okay,
Yeah.
great. So our new commissioners get to join in the fun too. Cool. Yeah.
Do people reshuffle? People do, so it's not like we're just getting the liaison group.
No.
Not that that would be a bad thing necessarily, but like inheriting the ones from the departed commissioners.
No. What's happened in the past is, and I don't know if Sarah's planning to do this again, but there's been an email that we have an opportunity to say, yeah, I'm interested in these groups, or I'm not interested in these, or I have not been a liaison for these groups, or whatever. And then there are some initial assignments made and you have an opportunity for feedback typically, but
Yes, and there's some difference, give it or like preference for the new commissioners, and then if someone really wants to invite you.
I thought it was the opposite.
I get last dibs.
No.
all right. Great. Thanks, guys. Leadership positions. What?
Sure. Oh, this is just along the same lines. In June, we'll also be talking about new chair. We'll also be voting in a new chair, new vice chair, and then the BMOCA board liaison. That is an official appointment since we support their building. So we have like a MOU with them that the arts commissioner always has a chair position or a board position.
And the visitors.
And yes, thank you. And the Boulder, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, so Visit Boulder, there's also a position that's on that, and that one is not the dairy anymore because we sold the building.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so we used to have one with the dairy, but the city sold them the building, so we are no longer. But I'm sure they would love you if you wanted to join the board. Yeah. Guy, did you have a question?
Yes, I was wrong. Sorry, Jill, you are correct. So it was just that the building cannot be owned by the city. So that was the only restriction. So I'm sorry, I made a mistake.
Thank you. So we'll take nominations and walk through those. We take nominations for the chair and vice, so consider that is of interest to you if you're thinking about that. And then we'll also, generally when we appoint when Sarah sends out the email about the liaison positions, we also ask about Visit Boulder and the BMOCA board position. So consider those. Thank you.
And I'd like to make a plug for the health of the organization that somebody who may be interested in filling in the chair seats. I know Jeffrey, you feel free to say what you want about your bandwidth. You're going to be traveling a lot in order, and taking over the chair doesn't seem to quite match with your schedule. From what I've heard, but I just really over the past couple of years have continued to say that it would be best for the organization if somebody else could step in and do the chair. I'm willing to do the work. It's not a lot of extra work. And you get to go out and do fun things and get invited to speak at things. But I don't need to hold this position for the lifetime of my commission appointment. I'm happy to support whoever comes in, but I don't need to grasp it with an iron grip. So please nominate early and often. Jeffrey.
And if folks are wondering what chair and vice chair really entails, we have an additional meeting per month, about a week and a half before the actual meeting, where we go through the proposed agenda and talk through basically what the lineup is going to be. Try to figure out that we're going to make sure that we're going to fit everything within those 2 hours. And also figure out if there are things that are part of the conversation within the community that can be added to that agenda, and then help judge that to move forward for the board packet. So that's really one of the additional things that come along with that. It's compiled through the city employees with oversight from us.
And then obviously the chair runs the meetings, and it's the same format every time. So it's very, and you've got a cheat sheet in front of you.
That's
And the vice chair is there if you can't make a meeting, so. And you got a gavel.
And you match this hour with the gavel.
Yes. Exactly. So, all right. Get off my box. Anything else on leadership positions? Any other questions?
I guess one other thing is, especially over the last 2 years, we've also been a united front in making sure that we're supporting the city staff as best we can as well as they go through transitions within the departments, but also have some challenges that come up through the community and through the commission itself.
Yes. Great teammates with the commission. All right, work groups. Sarah, Lauren, I think this is you.
Yes, I'll actually take sustainability and artificial intelligence. If you want to talk about the accessibility work group.
Yes, so we have our summit coming up on June 22nd. Our staff's meeting with the Center for People with Disabilities is postponed until October. They kindly asked that they be active, that they prioritize energy crisis, like lights getting shut off and that kind of thing first. So we said, yes, we're happy to take a step back and thank you for still having us. So anyway, I'll update you again in October. And then we have this statement on disability access that hopefully I can get volunteered to read out loud.
I didn't bring my glasses.
You can do that. Thank you.
This right. The Boulder Arts Commission affirms creative experiences are a public utility for all community members. We believe that creating a culture of inclusion goes beyond the baseline standards of the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. When accessibility expands beyond compliance, everyone benefits, and more community members can participate, engage, and find themselves reflected in the creative life of Boulder. The Boulder Arts Commission affirms that accessibility means removing the physical, financial, cultural, and linguistic barriers that have historically prevented specific communities from participating in and contributing to Boulder's creative life.
It means designing programs, spaces, and communications with diverse needs in mind from the start. The Boulder Arts Commission is committed to accessibility by continuing to encourage and support public policies and practices, convenings, tools, resources, research and research methodologies, creative media offerings and designs, and planning processes to be increasingly inclusive and accessible. This commitment will be utilized as a guiding principle for future decision-making. We understand that accessibility means different things to different people. We encourage and support a plan for gradual based improvements to build better habits and maintain openness for the evolution of how accessibility is defined over time. We want to acknowledge that disability justice work and all equity work is incomplete anywhere and remains ongoing and ever evolving. We consider accessibility as an undercurrent rather than an endpoint. Mission of the accessibility
Yes.
work group? Our Arts Commission Accessibility Working Group is tasked with the ongoing work to ensure Boulder is a place where all individuals, regardless of their abilities or identities, can participate and thrive in the creative community. The Arts Commission will continue working with city staff to transform our internal policies and practices, convening accessible events and providing our grantees and partners with resources and tools to go beyond the baseline legal standards.
Thank you. So the idea is that this would live on a web page. I'm working with the disability community directly to add resources to this page, but the statement would live there. We will find ways to incorporate this into our grant program, and it'll guide our internal work and also our external work and partnerships. And the idea is that there's a vote on this.
I have a comment.
Yes.
I have a question. It's more of a question. I noticed that in the Bedrock, the accessibility responses report on which is based, there's a point where there's the 6 bullet points, like the different areas. And we kind of give a nod to accessibility means different things to different people. Did you consider whether including some of those bullet points as examples, like specifically in this, would enhance it? Was it anything you thought of doing?
Yes, so there was a debate as to, I mean, I think we need a long version and a short version. So I think like if I'm going to an event and I want to put or I'm posting something and I want to put our mission statement up, I would only include that last paragraph. And then we debated creating example or adding examples to the statement, but we thought it might be better to just link to those.
Oh, okay.
In the
Yeah.
pages.
I just thought it was they helped me get my brain around like how broad of an impact this is gonna have.
Oh, right, the self-assessment. Yes, we'd have that on the same page.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, thank you.
I feel like the big points is accessibility is more than ADA compliance. Reducing barriers to participation, and that onus is not just on the organization, but also our policymakers. And that, yeah, we're gonna continue to learn and grow with community feedback.
And I did send this to someone from the Center for People with Disabilities, and they didn't have anything to add. Although, sorry about the typo.
It's really good.
I did have a question as I was reviewing it, because it specifically the title said disability access, and there was reference to ADA, there was reference to disability justice. But then the definition of accessibility in here became more specific about its physical, financial, cultural, linguistic. So expanding beyond physical or personal disabilities. And some of these things, financial, cultural, linguistic, I wouldn't, this is getting into touchy subject, I guess, but it seems odd to characterize those things as disabilities, so to speak. Are they barriers to access? Absolutely. But the word disability expanded to include those other qualities or experiences. I just had a hard time kind of wrapping my head around it. I love the spirit of it and I have zero concerns with the spirit of it, but I wonder if at the very least the title may be tweaked to take out the word disability or just to focus more on accessibility for all people to the creative arts experiences or something like that. Because when it's titled disability, but then the definition of what we're talking about goes well beyond kind of an ADA definition of disability, I felt a little conceptual confusion there.
That was pulled from older language from the commission. And yes, I do agree. We had this debate when we had a glossary of like accessibility with the lowercase a, which is like general access, and accessibility with the uppercase a, like specifically disability access. The intent of this is to be geared towards specifically disability access, and so it might be worth maybe not including that older language, but
I'm glad you raised that because if that's the focus of it is truly on the disability access, then I think it would be better to get more specific about that and perhaps remove reference to the financial, cultural, linguistic. I think those are other accessibility small a matters and they are also equity matters, but if you're calling it a disability statement and referring to ADA and disability justice and going beyond bare minimum ADA requirements, but to me, that just says that's different than financial, cultural, linguistic barriers.
And I think that has me walking back my comments of like, oh, maybe we should have the bullet points. And if they're going to be on the same page, they'll still be there as part of what we got feedback from the community about. But
yeah.
But I see the argument for.
Yeah.
So the work of this group really was focused on more ADA, disability justice, those types of issues.
Yes.
This is really the point of what we're trying to accomplish here.
And the idea is that accessibility with the lowercase a should be in everything that we do.
Yeah.
So this group is specifically about disability access because general access should be in every working group and everything we do. Right.
Yeah, she brings up a perfect point because when we were talking about the original discussion, we were looking at accessibility with capital A, aligning with the UN, their 17 points that they have for sustainability with a capital S and aligning with that. So now that it's morphed more into specifically the lowercase, then I think the language can be judged.
I find statements like this to be stronger when they're more specific rather than just kind of throwing the whole bucket of words on there. And so if it still fits within the focus of this effort to make it more specifically about disability access, that feels more comfortable.
Maybe just taking that paragraph out.
You could, I was just thinking that you could. I don't think it would weaken it by just taking that paragraph out. It's still a strong statement.
Can we approve the mission and not the rest of the statement so I can bring it for our accessibility summit?
Oh,
Yeah. And then we can.
The mission.
Yeah.
would it be too much to just say we approve it with, if we take that paragraph out? Is that like
That's also
too strong of an ask for everyone?
I mean, I like the fact that that paragraph really is articulating the intent to have it be included in programs and spaces and communications. I like that piece of that paragraph. I think that's important.
What if we
That
just
last
said,
sentence, I like, yeah. Maybe
what if we just said the Boulder, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You go ahead.
What if we just said removing barriers? The Boulder Arts Commission affirms that accessibility means removing barriers or striving to remove barriers that have historically prevented specific communities from participating.
See self-assessment.
Because it's really that list of comma, the different aspects that start to get a little bit muddied.
Barriers. Any other comments? Somebody like to make a motion along those lines?
I just want to make sure, Sarah, that that feels comfortable with, I kind of threw that in there and then we're like, yeah, so I just want to make sure that that feels comfortable for the focus of what this work has been and where you all were hoping this would get to.
No, I agree with your point. Okay, yeah, and I do think that we need to be clear about our communications with this. Yeah, so.
Gaia, I see your hand.
Yeah. Sarah, I'm glad that Kate brought it up. I think it's something that I did not think about at all, mostly because I'm not in this context as much as she is living in this arts world and with CU. Um, I I know we want to make sure that people have access to things, even financially, if they can't afford it or language is a barrier and things. Instead of removing it completely, is there a way to still allude to it? Like we to say that that is important to us as well, but that's not part of this accessibility statement, which is really addressing disability needs.
Gaia, what if we added, that paragraph that starts, we understand that accessibility means different things to different people and may also include financial, cultural, linguistic barriers. I don't know if that's walking back the whole conversation we just had, but
The other option is we're gonna have a broader website. So if we want to bring up the caveat that accessibility means different things to different people and bring up financial barriers, that can exist on the webpage without being in the statement itself.
That sounds
That's what
great.
I'm understanding.
Yeah.
And that removes those aspects away from being under a title of disability.
Yeah. I like that approach, the response document. I mean, it's the second paragraph, basically all those bullet points and words talking about how much broader it is.
Yeah, but the explanation about how the commission, not speaking for you, but just making sure it's like the commission values general accessibility. Here's the reason why we're calling out disability of access.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, would anybody like to make a motion?
Specific motion language or just like I move to approve the Boulder Arts Commission statement of disability access.
Would you like to suggest any edits?
With the edits, yes.
Is there a second?
I can second.
Great, thank you. And just to clarify, before we finish discussion, staff is clear on what the edits were.
Yes.
Yes. Great. Okay, all in favor? Great, thank you.
And then the last thing I'll say as an update is I'm getting in touch with the accessibility point person for Sundance tomorrow. And there's something else that I forget. Anyway, working on it.
Okay, thank you. Sustainability.
A very short update. We have a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks, and we're working on also drafting the statement for the Arts Commission. These statements do help us do a few things as we go forward. And as you've seen with the statement on cultural equity, we end up integrating it into grant programs. We use it for like framing as we talk about funding, as we talk about your work. So thank you as we get to these. It seems like a lot right now. We went from like a statement on cultural equity 7 or 8 years ago, and now we're going through a bunch of them, but it's building up into the bedrock, the grant program. We're going somewhere with it, I promise.
I feel like they really help guide us.
Yes.
Like, where we want to be going and where we want to be headed. So
Yes. Which also leads me to our artificial intelligence, our AI statement, which you have also a copy of that with you. And because the Arts Commission has a draft AI statement, we've been also pulled into citywide discussions about this. The city is very impressed by your early interest in AI. Because we're encountering now how we're doing it with marketing things, and it's just coming up a lot more. And so So some of my colleagues have pulled us in part because the Arts Commission has been thinking about this for just a couple months now, but we're ahead of the game, which is very good, which is great to be. So this is a value statement and written this way in part because AI is changing so quickly. So we need to think of it in terms of, as things change, what are our more important values that are seated above that rather than more specific, like we're going to be compliant with A, B, C, D, E, right? So consider that. It's also going to guide the work of the Arts Commission and staff. This is not citywide policy. And all of these are for the Arts Commission, for your grant programs, for your public art programs, and for staff. So as we're considering what projects and programs for next year, I can say, hey, I want to lean on the Arts Commission's AI statement to ensure that we have funding to support a creative workforce program at the city, because the Arts Commission is supporting that, right? Like it gives us this underpinning to lean on. We have a summit coming up also, which will be really interesting, July 16th at Kiln. That's going to cover, we have our City of Boulder policy staff person who's talking specifically about city policy, which is actually even more narrow. It's just a couple things, and then resources for arts organizations, guidance about using tools, our statement, hopefully something else I've also forgotten. I apologize. However, I leave you this draft. I will bring another draft for a vote, but let me know if you have any thoughts or comments or questions on the vision or the value statement, excuse me. I'll bring it back probably at the next meeting just so we have it before we go into that summit, but thank you, everybody. Yeah.
Gaia, I see your hand.
Yes. Hi. I have a few comments, thoughts, questions. I'll go with the first.
Great.
So the first one is I think the values are solid. I just had one thing around. So one of the guidelines that you have here: choose the simplest task that fits the task, simplest tool that fits the task, and ask partners to disclose their environmental impact. What does that mean? I'm wondering if that's going to create a little bit more work than we need for nonprofits that have to somehow start reporting on this.
The first part of that sentence, and I apologize, I don't have it in front of me, but the first part of that is intended, oh, fabulous, to try to help us with the environmental costs. So instead of going down a long train of using AI over and over and over, that you're trying to use it as minimally as possible. So you're not having the environmental cost of that. And then ask partners to disclose their environmental impact. That is part of that value statement of like, it would be ideal if people are disclosing how they're using it, and if they're using it extensively over and over and over. Like, we're trying to get people to consider how they're using it and the environmental, like make the connection of like, it's not just you getting an answer or a graph or whatever it is. You are having an impact in the world when you're using the tools, right? I'm happy to reconsider how to say that.
So is that section more about encouraging communications, or are you recommending like specific disclosures in a higher level expectation around that?
That's a really good question. And I think it would come to, that makes me think of the grant program, right? If we're asking, that would be more of a actionable than a value, right? Is that what you're trying to get at?
Oh, well, that's what I heard in Guy's question.
Yeah. Okay. I will look at that.
And I think, it's one thing to request that a nonprofit say they create a program, like a physical program, and then, now a lot of people say assisted by AI or written by AI or something like that. I think that's fine to request a nonprofit to say, hey, if you're using AI to help you write something, just disclose it. If you're using AI to help you with a grant program, with grant writing, which I know every single nonprofit probably is, just like check a tick box. So, I mean, why we would do that, I don't know. But if you want to have that sort of disclosure, maybe that's fine. But then this other thing too about AI's energy use and concern, I think it's completely understandable right now. But with technology moving so fast, I think in 2 or 3 years, it may not be as much of an issue as it is now, right? So the chips are changing, how these things are being manufactured is changing. So maybe we just also acknowledge that these values are evolving and we will revisit it, right? Like 12 months from now, 14 months from now. And I think the last thing is there's good, like, I think there is a lot of cost savings associated with AI for these nonprofits. Like previously, maybe they had to hire a grant writer. Now they don't have to. So there's a lot of trade-offs that are happening here. So we should acknowledge that yes, there's definitely this environmental impact, but there's definitely this side of it where you are saving more money to put back into the community, into your programming, whatever the case is. So just consider those trade-offs carefully and keep that in mind.
That's right.
I feel called to, if we are going to highlight savings, cost savings, that needs to be balanced with a statement of the human impact of people feeling at very high risk of losing their jobs at the expense of cost savings. So I would just encourage that if we decide to put in a statement about that is a balanced statement. I certainly would feel comfortable personally endorsing a gung-ho cost savings statement.
I mean, sure, there's always trade-offs, right? I don't think I mean, what I'm saying, like people are experiencing, like every nonprofit that you speak to is surely big, like, oh shit, like I had to hire somebody and pay them $25. No, I don't have to do that. I can do this email database thing by myself. They are doing this. Are we saying now that you're going to get dinged for doing this, or you're considered not a good nonprofit if you're doing that? I don't know if we want to have that message out either.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that, so, yeah. I had some comments also. The bullet about consent. Oh, it's the third bullet. Boulder's cultural community stands with artists and asserting that consent is not optional. That felt a little clunky, and I thought maybe like that obtaining consent is not optional, something like that. I don't know if it feels clunky to anybody else, maybe it's just me. So just that's, you won't have to wordsmith it ad nauseam right now, but and then I had on the equity bullet, which is the fourth one, equity must be actively protected. AI systems can reflect and amplify existing biases. Using them well requires awareness, intentionality, and ongoing accountability. I notice the values, like I guess I'm struggling with how does an arts organization or an artist actually like have any sort of input or being aware of it, yes, that there is bias, but I don't, there's something about it that I feel like needs a little bit more explanation. If we know of any way to advise people more about how they can impact how biases that are inherent in whatever system they're using are minimized. If that makes sense. I'm having a hard time articulating it.
I get it though, yeah.
Yeah. And then the third thing that I saw is in the final bullet, empower and educate yourself and program users to know what is best, expected best practices, and centering on accountability of the individual rather than the tool itself. And that also just on a personal level felt unbalanced. Like I think it feels like it's pushing all the responsibility onto the user without a recognition that there's an environment where tools are being created with biases and and that the industry also needs to have accountability. So it felt uneven.
I agree that sentence feels funky. And I agree.
Into AI. No, I'm kidding.
There's,
Yeah.
there's too many commas, and then there also, I see your point, Caroline, about
Yeah.
we can't just put all that, the accountability on the individual. And I also, with that one, I also hesitated on the word slow, because I think you can be responsible and thoughtful without being slow.
Yeah.
And so I would just suggest maybe taking that out and leaving it as responsible and thoughtful adoption, but something needs to be fixed with that second half of that bullet point though.
Yes, and thank you. I hope that you all will come. This is a point from the city's guidance, which is like about, and this is, I'm just pointing this out because I think it's fast. This is fascinating. Thank you, everybody. That the city's guidance is really like, you need to be sure that when you're using this stuff, that you're being thoughtful and protective, and you're accessing, you have access to people's information, private information, you're a public steward, right? And I think I just didn't translate it correctly. And I'm going to ask our IT maven to help me translate that correctly with the balance of it. Like there's all these really interesting balances, and he's going to speak at our summit. So I hope you all come and hear how it goes. Yes.
So the accessibility statement and the sustainability will have direct application to grant process. How do you see this one?
Go ahead.
So if I think we receive an application that has use of AI that is taking jobs away from artists or something that goes against stated values, then that's an opportunity to say this use of AI goes against our values in this instance, but having it be broad enough so that if there's a really interesting project that uses AI that maybe is commenting on AI, that can work, but we can incorporate it to make sure that taxpayer dollars is not going to something that is against the values of this commission. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah. And a little bit more broadly, translating it into how, like, making sure the grant panelists aren't throwing everything into an AI software and then getting their scores back, right? Like, give some practical stuff for it too. And then really helping the arts and culture community with these battles. Like the discussion that you just had would be of so much interest to individual creatives and arts community, and we see ourselves because we are a little bit like looking at this is your liaison position, right? Like, what are these topics that are coming up? This is coming up over and over. And we want to be able to help organizations that don't have time and energy and space to be able to find the research and do it themselves, right? Like your role as arts commissioners is to help them in these kind of professional development ways, right? And for us to help them get this content, right? So that's more broadly. There's also going to be thank you, Cindy, for emailing me. There's also going to be an artist meetup about AI specifically more in the fall, which should be really interesting because we helped pass the Artist Corporation at the state level. The city supported it. I testified about it. It is a new LLC, Artist Corporation LLC, and it has to do with protecting some of your intellectual property rights. So in this realm, we can talk about it offline if you're interested, but we're hoping to have people come and talk about that at the individual artist meetup too. Yeah.
It's really cool.
I do have a few more comments on actually building on some of the things we've been talking about. This is super interesting and so timely because just this morning I saw that the first AI created film is being premiered at the Tribeca Film Festival. It was created in a couple months by a guy and with funding backing from someone in the film industry. And he made the case. So all the visuals, they were showing clips of it, and all the visuals are AI and the voices are AI. But he created the plot and the blocking of the plot and the script. And his point is that so this movie is set in Iran and it reflects events that are very recent and almost currently happening. And one of his points was that this is happening so quickly that you wouldn't be able to make a feature-length film about the things presently happening in Iran that could be out right now. that kind of like there's an immediacy effect that he was able to achieve with this. But it was just so fascinating that knowing that we were coming into this meeting tonight, and I just was watching that clip this morning and just like my mind was getting blown. So yeah, this is super interesting and very timely. The thread that we were on about disclosing things, disclosing when AI is being used, disclosing. So I have a few thoughts on that. One is it's in bullet 3. It starts with transparency builds trust. Very much agree with the idea that if disclosure should be shared if AI is being used, like this guy with his movie is used AI to make his movie. There's no world in which he should be out there making it seem like these are real actors, right? He is and should be transparent about that. So art making and creative product, yes, of course, but I hesitate to say that we should be telling people they should be disclosing when AI is being used in communications or decision making. I think that happens all the time already, where people are consulting AI to help think through a thorny problem or running communications through AI just to tweak wording or to hone. I don't see that as something that we can realistically be saying that people should be disclosing. I assume that our nonprofits are using AI to tweak wording on their website or write something. And I personally don't think that is something that we should be requiring people to disclose, unless it's being used to create and influence the art that's being created.
I agree with what you're saying. The nuance on decision making that I would argue to keep in is the instance where you were talking about, committee members putting grant applications through, and that would be decision making.
Yes,
That we would definitely want to know, and and if there was some aspect of a grant that was making elections or, staffing people or having open calls and using AI to make those decisions, I would argue for transparency on that as well.
I agree with you. So maybe this just needs a little more poking about to kind of clarify because I don't know about feasibility of disclosing environmental impact, that whole section. I agree there was a bit of, because you don't really know. I mean, you don't really know when you're running it through the ChatGPT one more time what your environmental impact. Well, I did it 5 times instead of 4. It's like you can't really quantify that. And then the one that starts with equity must be actively protected, because equity is a word that means different things. Like it literally can mean like monetary value. Like I just want us to be a little more clear about what we mean here. What we're really talking about is biases, and maybe we just skip that first sentence and just say AI systems can reflect and amplify existing biases, and then clarify. Maybe it's equitable practices or equitable something, but I don't think we can just say equity must be protected. And to wordsmith a tiny bit, using them well refers to I thought it was referring to the existing biases, because it was the book came immediately before.
Yeah.
It's like referring to a noun that came earlier.
As well.
It means what we're trying to say is using the AI systems well requires awareness, intentionality. So
Yeah. Yes, thank you. I will say that.
use your biases well.
Yeah.
That's what I read the first time.
Yeah.
I think that's
This
it.
is why we have some group editing, and I
think that's it for
appreciate
me.
it. The equity is, and I will figure out how to say that, but it is referencing our bigger city frameworks, right? Like we have the sustainability, equity, and resilience framework. So I'm trying to actually speak to some other things, right? Like we're trying to speak to like city practices.
Is equitably a word? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it says like using AI equitably requires awareness, intentionality, and ongoing.
Yeah, there'll be a way, but I totally catch her. It's so interesting to have somebody that has not been steeped in city language for 8 years reading this. Go like, that could be anything. Like, what are you talking about?
Equity doesn't just mean the one thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's to what you said. Like,
yeah.
Maybe it could be. Maybe the value is simply to recognize that AI can amplify biases. Maybe that's the value. But I hear you trying to speak to city things, and that matters.
To make a little.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm sure that we can, and that's a very good point to be like, thank you. Sure that we can make that.
In a lot of ways, I mean, I feels like, well, a lot of the bullets come back to the same thing, which is understand how you're using it as a tool and don't replace the human elements of creativity, human experience.
Yeah. Sanity.
Maybe that's a header.
Be humans.
Just TLDR.
Yeah. Be good, like a nice high level vision statement, TLDR.
If we can get that on the city website, I would be.
Give me 3 years. This is go.
You have what you need?
Yeah, this is excellent. And of course, as I'm sure that you'll go home and just have a glass of wine and look at this some more. Please feel free to send me any other thoughts. If there's other like subtleties, or if there's other things that you want to be sure that we are in here that we're addressing, and these, think of how we're using this, right? Like, this is wonderful. Thank you. We can go through this over and over again until we get it right, and then we can edit it in 2 years, in a year or two. I like that, Gaia, as like technology changes too. I think and art changes. I think there's going to be some really interesting things happening in a year or 2 or 10, right? Thank you, everybody.
Upcoming events, I don't have the dates in front of me.
Oh, it's okay. I think we've
Covered it?
So,
Okay,
yeah,
great.
thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Okay. Questions about the staff memo? A hot topic as always. New Arts Commission photo. More like the ocean without even planning it for the photo.
I think we have to wait until everybody's present.
Oh,
I
that's
will
right.
put that on the agenda. It'd be weird to have two like
Yeah.
floating heads. Yeah.
Stand in front of them. Just kidding, guys. Cool. Our next meetings are on the schedule. Do we have, I noticed on the website, do we have all the dates?
Mhm.
Okay. When is our retreat? Normally in October?
Yes, we will at the next meeting also talk about retreat dates, because it is like a half day, so we want to be sure everybody has it booked off. Sometimes we do it in the morning or on a Friday or whatever might work best for everybody with your schedule. So more of that.
Do we know where we're doing it again?
No, where should we do it?
That's a great
Someplace
question.
fun.
I'll send some suggestions.
Yes, me too. Something cool.
Yeah.
Gateway Fun Park.
Crazy. All right, well, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting. 7